Hey, today we'll be discussing everything that you need to know about latency while building AI voice agents, especially if you're building self-hosted voice agents. I learned all of this while building Goldflow, that it's basically a self-hosted platform that lets you create, manage, deploy, and deliver to your customers self-hosted voice agents. Okay, in case that you are an AI voice agency and need to create self-hosted voice agents, Goldflow could be a really good fit for you. Okay, you can ask for a 7-day trial. However, this interactive demo here, it resets every 15 minutes. This is public, so please do not enter any API credentials or anything like that. Okay, this is just for you to click around, see what's inside, and if you really want to start testing the agents and everything else, you can ask for a 7-day trial. Okay, great. So let's start talking about the different components of latency. Probably you have already heard about latency, but this is usually, however, people that talk about this usually only mention the latency in STT, TTS, and LLM, the actual tokens per second, or something like this. Okay, however, as you'll see, there are a lot of different components. Okay, first of all, if you're using LiveKit or Pipecat, that are basically open source frameworks and I think also JavaScript to build voice agents, you'll probably be using Docker. I would highly recommend you to create, to deploy these agents in isolated containers, okay? One container per agent. And these agents inside of the Docker container would be treated as workers, okay? And then the jobs that these workers would be taking are the calls, okay? Simplifying it a little bit, but just to understand, it is what it is, okay? So, of course, we first have to be starting the worker. Okay, this could also be adding a bit of latency if you are starting the worker when a new call is entering. Okay, you would have to have the worker already up before the calls start entering to reduce the latency already a little bit. Okay, well, actually it can be a lot, could be 10 seconds. Okay, so make sure to do this. Then I would highly recommend to pre-warm the different components, the VAT, the turn detector, the STT, TTS, LLM, and a couple of other stuff. And pre-warming basically means that the worker establishes a connection with the provider and keeps that connection alive. Okay, so that then in a call, a connection could be used and it's already warmed. Okay, the API provider, for example, the TTS provider or the LLM provider already is connected to our server. So then every time that we are making a connection is much quicker. Okay, we need to keep this connection alive. We'll be talking about keep alive too. Okay, rewarm. But yeah, this is something important to keep in mind. Also, a couple of other items that can be adding latency, but you can do nothing about is basically the dispatching the agent to the room so that it can be connected with the user. Okay, so in case of LiveKit, I'm not truly sure how Pipecat works because I'm used to working with LiveKit. Creates a room where the AI voice agent can enter and then the other users enter. Okay, and in that case, they can talk with each other. Okay, and also validations with the backend of the control panel that you use. In my case, would be Goldflow, can also an effect on that. Okay, as I've already said, the worker should be already started. And for the ones that want to build LiveKit or Pipecat voice agents, if the agent is already created, it is already, that's not true. Okay, process running is not the same as ready for first turn. Many systems need extra time between worker wake up, plugin initialize, connection open on all of this. And that's why we have to do pre-warm, rewarm, keep alive, and readiness polling. Okay, right. The second point is turn taking. Okay, this is basically to detect when the user has finished and the agent can start talking, okay? And also to detect if the user is interrupting the AI agent. We have VAD, that it's basically an algorithm that detects the end of turn with the energy of the sound, okay, decibels, all of this. And we have turn detector, that is a mini AI model that will detect semantically, will analyze what the user has said, and will determine if semantically the user has finished talking, okay? So this can be really useful in case that the user is like thinking, okay, and does a 2-second pause. Probably the turn detector will help the AI agent know that the user has not stopped talking, okay? And pointing and of utterance detection, false interruption handling, Bayesian logic, and noise and partial STT cuts. This is also important, okay? You can absolutely do some work on this. However, usually the most important ones to start configuring and setting up everything correctly is turn detector and VAD. Okay, the other ones are much more difficult to set up, and not only that, you do not have much control compared to turn detector and VAD. Okay, and why is it important? Well, because even though we have a fast LLM, for example, looking to 400 to 600 milliseconds to generate the response of the agent, if the turn end has not been detected correctly and it waits a couple of seconds, it will feel really slow. The noticed, or well, the latency felt by the user will be 3 seconds. Like 400 milliseconds plus 2 seconds, it will feel like 3 or 2 seconds, okay? So that's why it's really important to have this set up correctly. And actually, even if we have a slower model that could be taking 1 second to generate, if we have this taking detection really set up correctly, the conversation will feel much more alive, okay? So yeah, LLM latency, of course, it's important, but there are other parts that are equally important or even more important, okay? However, there is a trade-off here. If we set up a VAD and turn detector to wait the least time possible, probably it's going to just interrupt the user, cut phrases, and it will feel nervous. Well, the user will start to freak out a little bit, okay? And if we set to laxative configurations here, and on the other hand, if we set VAD and turn detector and all of the other components to be much more laxative, it just will feel slow, rhythm, and heavy on UX. So that's something important to keep in mind. Then inference budget. Yeah, this is what people usually talk about. Okay, the STT, LLM, and the TTS. For the STT, these metrics are important: time to first partial, time to stable transcript, and time to enough confidence. This is pretty important, okay? Because this is the enough confidence that the transcription has been, is realistic. It's actually close to reality, okay? If this takes a lot of time, latency of the STT will go up. Most of the times, you do not have much power to influence this. It will just depend on the provider and model sometimes, and other times you can a slider or a value in the settings, but usually you do not really have any power in this. Equally with the LLM and TTS, you have to make sure that they are pre-warmed and then to choose the right provider and model. Yeah, key idea, early text is not equal to ready to respond. Fast partials are not fast decision, because the model could be really fast at starting to transcribe, but if it takes a lot of time to be confident, latency will be high, no matter the time to first partial being low, okay? Yeah, STT may look fast. Well, everything that I've already said. Great. So LLM latency, time to first token. This is one of the important metrics for measuring the LLM latency. However, other factors also influence this LLM latency, basically long prompts, large history, duplicated context, burst summaries, huge tool schemas, redundant instructions, and, well, of course, higher TTFT, as I've said. Okay, this is, well, all of these are actually, I think they are repeated. I should have removed this. But yeah, well, this is more of metrics, like make sure that the prompt is not too long, tool section, make sure that the, well, section and tool execution, are using tools that are fast, that do not take time, that actually we're going to be talking about that later. Then TTS latency, time to first audio. This can be breakdown into the LLM TTF-FT, okay, TTS TTF-FB, and then the first audio frame, okay. User key idea, user share audio, not text generation. So this is why we are factoring all of these three submetrics into the time to first audio, okay. And you'll see that actually this is quite important. It's one of the main metrics to be measuring, okay. Common causes, handshakes, low streaming, heavy voice, large chunks, or conservative playout buffer, okay. Some of these are fixed or are reduced. The negative effect is reduced with pre-warming, and the other, for example, heavy voice, may just be choosing of the model or the voice selected, okay. Then tool calls and workflow latency. This is also important. If the LLM is quick, but the tools take a lot of time to respond, or the workflow just takes too much time, latency will be high no matter what, okay. APIs, webhooks, CRM, validations, callbacks, all of this has to be handled as quick as possible. Each tool call can have a lot of factors that could be factoring in latency, network, DNS, TLS, timeout, retry, JSON serialization, and all of this. A useful trick, usually, if you want to be saving time on workflows, not in tool calls, because of course for tools you need an LLM, but to keep the workflow to help you actually have less latency, it's using TTS directly instead of LLM, okay? That's why in call flow we have call flows, okay? Because then you can go to the call flows conversation node and have the literal mode that basically says that this is going to be set literally in the call. So no LLM involved whatsoever, just the TTS component of the agent, okay? If you just use a platform that only has an agent section with no workflow and all of this, you are losing this potential useful functionality or sub functionality, okay? And even some platforms with workflows, they do not work like this, or they do not have these options. So yeah, that's something that I actually like quite a lot of call flows. So this can benefit greetings, consent, IVR menus, transfer phrases, static messages, and all of these. Of course, if you are doing this with LiveKit and Pipecast, you can take a look. I'm pretty sure you can do so, okay? Media path latency, not the same to do a web call, a SIP call, or PSTN, turn connection, TCP fallback, and all of this. So this is just to let you know, besides choosing the right provider that it's close to your customers, you cannot do really a lot about this. Yeah, it's just to let you know that this also affects the latency, okay? Make capture, encode, jitter buffer, and all of these other jargon is different in a web call or a SIP call or a TAN connection call and all of this. So yeah, just letting you know that this can be affecting your latency, okay? Well, the latency of your agent. So basically, summarizing, what are the metrics that you really need to look at? Agent join latency. This is important that the agent joins automatically, okay, once the call is started. Time to first partial transcript. This is also important. End of utterance delay, LLM TTF FT, TTFT, TTS TTFB, first agent audio latency. This is actually the most important one, or the most honest one, of how the user is perceiving your agent in terms of latency. Tool call latency, webhook latency, that actually could be the same, as many dashboards allow you to set up tool calls with webhooks, so this is pretty much the same. And transfer setup latency, transfer to human. Okay, awesome. So that's it. You'll have call flow down below in the description if you want to check it out. See you on the next video.